Hello, and welcome to saveourmiddleclass.net. This is the second of two videos on domestic terrorism, and I remind you that the first video recommended that we improve our refugee and immigration processes by adapting the safety procedures used by our FDA. Their policy is safety first, not political correctness first. While the first video covered individuals entering our country, this second video addresses solutions that strengthen our preventative processes once they are here. These solutions will prove to be much more effective and proactive than any that we have today. I doubt that you need to be reminded of the real and present dangers to our lives, livelihoods, and way of life that terrorism poses for us, but just in case, I remind you that today's terrorist acts are rooted in fundamental religious beliefs that conflict with our secular society and are acted out in horrific scenes of violence and human suffering. These attacks are not by people seeking freedom, but rather they are carried out by people who hate religious freedom, along with freedom of speech and women's rights. What needs to be done is to preempt and root out those who oppose our freedoms as written in our Bill of Rights. That is correct. It will be support of our freedoms that will keep us safer. Here is how we can implement our plan. First, all immigrants to our country must sign a pledge to support and uphold our Constitution and our Bill of Rights, along with specifically and separately pledging their support of our freedom of religion and freedom of speech. These pledges must also include the specific rights of women in our society. All of this must be explained in detail to the individual applying for immigrant or refugee status and must be signed. A digital video of every signing must be made and published on the World Wide Web for all to see. Secondly, this same pledge must be signed by all officers and decision makers of every, I'll say it again, every organization which receives a tax-free benefit. Again, I will say all tax-free organizations must sign these pledges. Yes, this includes all domestic religious organizations as well. Again, no one organization is being singled out. This is an all-inclusive requirement for all organizations that receive a tax-free status. But for the purposes of this video, I am concentrating on religious organizations. On the national level, every leader of every domestic religious organization must sign this pledge and declare unwavering support of our Bill of Rights, and again, specific and separate attention needs to be drawn to freedom of religion, speech, and women's rights. This pledge signing must also be performed on a local level by every local minister, rabbi, priest, imam, and any other religious officials of every religious organization, including the leaders and teachers of each and every religious school. Those organizations refusing to sign will lose their tax-free status and must be treated as combatants in our domestic war on terror. If some of their leaders sign and others do not, then the ones who do not sign must be identified to authorities and they must be publicly fired from the organization, or the entire organization's tax-free status will be jeopardized. We need to proactively single out any and all threats to our freedoms, and this is a simple, peaceful, and effective means of accomplishing this goal. If they do not believe in and support our freedoms, they must support something that is harmful to our freedoms, and this is very troubling to a free society, and something we cannot be financially supporting through tax benefits. Keep in mind, this approach also utilizes the World Wide Web. Until now, it seems that the terrorists have been using the web to their advantage. We can also use it to our advantage, as each pledge signed will be recorded and published on the web. The citizens of Syria, Iran, Iraq, Egypt, Libya, along with those leaders of ISIS, will see every religious leader in America signing a pledge supporting our freedoms. This will separate our country from theirs. We love and support freedoms in America. If you are worried about any legal issues, you need not worry. Just keep in mind that we, the American citizen, are offering a significant benefit to each and every organization by allowing them to receive their tax-free status, and therefore we have every right to place this qualifier on their ability to gain and maintain their tax-free status. Besides, ask a lawyer, how can an act supporting religious freedom be repressing religious freedom? It does not. In conjunction to the pledge, we also need to enact a new law that will aid authorities to apprehend any and all enablers to terrorism. I am recommending that after a domestic terror attack, any and all associates, friends, family, and co-workers of the known perpetrators be required to submit to a polygraph test. That is a lie detector test, and ask what they knew and when they knew anything about the activities of the perpetrators. The questioning must also include what they suspected prior to the attack. I know that this will be an intrusion upon their privacy and their individual rights, and we must pass this law, which will allow this procedure to be done. It is a quick and effective means to allow all of us to know that unreported activities before an event will be discovered through the application of this process, and those involved will be discovered and treated as co-conspirators. We must force these groups to become self-policing, or they will risk being treated equally as guilty as the perpetrators. We must demand that these communities condemn these activities before they happen, not after. Silence and anonymity are enablers of these terrorist evil activities, and they must no longer be tolerated. I want all Americans to live in a safe and free society, and I believe that these solutions are a good first step to achieving that goal. I know that we must have peaceful and safe public venues as well as work venues if we are to rebuild our middle-class job market. Safety concerns us all. As always, I ask you to join us and go to saveourmiddleclass.net and print off our pledge form and send it to every politician who is requesting your vote. Demand that they sign the Pledge of Loyalty to our American middle class, or that you will not vote for them. And please have them send all signed pledges to the address listed on the bottom of the form. Together we can rebuild our American middle class, and together we can do more to ensure a freer, safer country for all of us. May God bless our American middle class. Goodbye.